All right. Here's another episode of Cerberus Sports Talk. Today is the home opener for the Oakland A's. I also will be going into what happened this week for A's baseball. Stay tuned to find out. All right. So yeah, we're back here today. Again, opening home game for the Oakland Athletics. What a wonderful week it was, over 500. But let's get to some transactions today because Martin Gallegos reported on Twitter that Austin Allen, Jed Lowry, Chad Pinder, AJ Puck, Kirby Snead, Lou Trevino were all placed on the COVID-19 list. But number 5 prospect in the organization, Nick Allen, has been called up, as well as Sam Selman and Christian Lopes. So they will definitely have some people coming in for the home opener. I know Pinder is a fan favorite there, so him missing is going to be a little bit of a downer, I'm sure, for some people. But definitely going to have a good time there out at Oakland. I'm sure people are already tailgating. So this is for you guys at home. But yeah, I think it's going to be something to take a look at and see how long these guys are out for this series. I mean, the Orioles aren't as hard as the opponents that we were playing, but every day you got to get some W's to get towards that playoff push. But let's get started in here with the first series here, the Tampa series. So the Tampa series, they go 3-4 in that series there. First game was a doozy. I mean, I was out there watching the game at a local pub called Buffalo Bros here in Fort Worth. Half off pizza, so not a bad deal at all. Getting some beer in, watching the games, and just exploding home runs left and right. Going into this series, I thought it was going to be a rough one, but exploding some home runs, win that 13-2. Break it down there. Starting off rather quickly in the first inning with Seth Brown hitting a massive home run. Then back to back goes Pinder. So Pinder and Brown definitely are helping this team with their RBIs. Pinder's got 6 and Brown's got 9 on the season. Both have 2 homers. So definitely coming live in this game. Pinder. Exit velo of 105, hitting at 404 feet. And Brown, he went one up to him the at bat before that with 108 exit velo of 427. So this caught off rather quick, 8-0 into the 6th, and then you're looking at 13-2 was the final score here. 3 players of the game. Blackburn got the win. 5 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, 7 Ks. Andrews was 3 for 5. And Sheldon Noisy was 3 for 5 with that granny off that lob pitch going into that last inning there. So definitely padding the stats, which I like. But the next game was a good one. I mean, back and forth, 8-9 loss, but we lost in extras. But I'm just happy that this team pushed. I mean, the 7 we scored 3 runs to make it a tie ball game. Throw it into extras. I think believe that was the Pinder McKinney combination to get it done there to tie it up. And it was a phenomenal game going into that, and for the A's to come back and really make it a point. I mean, at one point in the third, the win probability for the Rays was around 86 point or 90.7 when in the bottom of the 6th. So nobody really expected, but the double scoring Murph, making it 7-7 was definitely something there. We actually, in the extra innings, quality hit by who scored that in the bottom? I think that was McKinney in the bottom of the top of the 10th that scored Pinder there. And we're like, okay, well then we have a good chance to win here. But in the bottom, Wander Franco has been killing it this year so far, ties it up 8-8. And then they win it up to a walk-off with the line drive to Chad Pinder. So definitely something to look at there with this team is that, they scrapped back in, and that's kind of a reoccurring theme that I'm going to get to here. But then we go into this last one. For the last 2 games, went 4-2 and 6-3. So winning the series 3 out of 4, against the Rays wasn't something that I thought was going to happen. So then you're looking at this team like, oh man, they might be scrappier than I thought. They might actually be a decent team. And what do they got going in against a team that is wildly competitive in the Tampa Bay Rays? They go north of the border then to the Blue Jays, next. And so, going into Toronto, a lot of feelings for fans there. Obviously, seeing Matt Chapman in a different uniform was kind of differently, and like rooting against a player that meant so much to you. And Jackie Robinson Day on Friday, 1-4 loss. I'm still glad that they commemorate. I know Jackie Robinson meant so much to people and really revolutionized the game of baseball to the beginning of what it is today. So, shout out again to Jackie Robinson for all that he did for the sport. But the Blue Jays win 4-1. And then on Saturday, we get the win 7-5, and a lot of action on this day. I was actually able to sit down and watch that a little bit. Toronto goes up 1-0. And you're looking at, okay, is this just going to be another thromping? Because that offense is such a potent one. Single by Sheldon Noisy, Kevin Smith doubles, and you're like, okay, all right. It's a 2-1 Oakland here. And then Betancourt with a ground rule double, 3-1. So you're like, man, like this is really going. And then after that, Murphy just hits an absolute mammo. 452 feet, exit velo of 114. Like this was just an absolute piss missile. And Murphy's just been tearing it up, and that whole series there with back and forth, a little bit in that game because Toronto comes back in the 6, scores 3. And then, you're looking at tie game, they tie it back up. Can we get it going here and come out on top? Billy McKinney called out on strikes, but then Pache just comes in, homers, fly ball to right center field, Betancourt scores. That gives us a 7-5. And, Pache's been a breath of fresh air. I think a lot of fans on Twitter are saying that he's the favorite or the new favorite person to watch. And so it's something that is to be looked at with these teams going forward, all these new prospects coming up. We're going to see a lot of new guys with the COVID thing today. So, how is this team being identified? And I think looking back into other A's teams, whether it was the Bernie lean or the pie in the face after wins or whatever have you, walk up songs from certain guys, you're looking at, how is this shaped by the Oakland A's fan base? And I'm going to be interested to see how that shakes out at home, with the homestand. They're playing the Orioles and the Rangers, how that's going to work at home, how the fan base is going to really embrace these guys. What are they going to do different? I know today's mainly going to be a lot about Ray Fosse, and well-deserved because, he's a legend, not only in the sport, but for the Oakland Athletics. But as these games roll in and players do certain things, are there going to be, you're going to see new signs, you're going to see new, chants and all those kind of stuff like that. It's going to be really something awesome to watch, in my opinion. And, I'm excited to see how this team's growing, because I never thought, we would be 5-5, going into this home series here. I thought we'd be in the bottom of the division, and we're not, and in fact, this week, if you look at it, we started out 1-2, 4-3 in this last week. So over 500 record against 2 perennial playoff teams. The Blue Jays many people are picking the Blue Jays to win the World Series. Rays have always been near the top. So it's something to take a look at. And, I think, this leads into, my last topic before I pick the Oakland Star of the Week, is that this is a gutsy team. It's a gutsy team. And I think that you look at this team was winning some very important games over this last week. They seem like a team who likes to grind. We're going to be getting Ramon Laureano back, so the defense is going to be astronomically good in the outfield. Having that flair, playing these 2 playoff teams, it could have looked a lot worse. I mean, we could have went, 1-2 games, and went 2-5, and you're sitting there at 3 and 3-7. And maybe you're not thinking so good about this team, but I think you're looking at a team that has some balls, so to speak, and is willing to throw it out there. I mean, they were within 1 run from 2 of the 3 losses. One of those was in an extra inning. So, I mean, they could even have pulled out more wins this week against some quality opponents. So if they keep that up, I think this team could be sneaky. And like I said on the last podcast, I don't really want to pick them for second yet. I think the Mariners still get there. But I think that I was predicting roughly around 60 wins to start the season. Now I'm kind of in the 70, 75 range, and we'll see how these young guys keep progressing. Maybe they get up into 50-50 baseball and are in conversation for the playoffs. Now it's still early, right? I mean, baseball is a game of runs. And so, not only runs on a game-to-game basis, but, runs of wins and losses. Teams can get hot or cold, and it'll be interesting to see how this team levels out. I think the veteran leadership of Jed Lowry and a lot of these older guys can keep this team who has that gutsy mentality, that battle mentality, even keel on the low points. And then these young players are going to pull them up as well. And so I think it's something to look at as far as, what this team will look like. And I think if their confidence continues to grow, you see a lot of it with Pache and, hitting those home runs, the in the Parker, the sliding at home, being all excited. I think with that young flair, and you're getting Ramon Laureano back, and here pretty soon, like this team could be, a huge confidence boost away from being a real contender. Not in the full baseball sense, but in that division, maybe, to challenge for the second spot. I don't really think they climb up against the Astros, but better than what I think a lot of people thought. And maybe you're like, oh well, if we win 60 games, we're in competition for a top 5 pick, and that would help our organization more, maybe. And I wouldn't be surprised if the A's sell off some of these veterans at the deadline. I mean, you're looking at Montas was rumored to be getting the Chicago White Sox's number 1 first baseman prospect. And the White Sox shot that down. But if Montas has his Cy Young, repeat of what he did last year, I mean, you could see him getting a better haul than what he would have gotten in the beginning of the season, because teams tend to spend up at the deadline to push for the playoffs. Montas got some Cy Young votes and everything like that last season. And so I think he's kind of an under the radar ace for this, for the deadline to be taken and potentially getting a really good top prospect there. Cause I know first base has kind of been a little bit of a carousel there with no real person holding it down. McKinney's been playing there. Sometimes I saw Vogt there play a couple times as well. And so, for me, I think it's just something to look at going forward is how does this team really start projecting and which of these rookies are going to be going forward. I mean, I like Pache at the 9 hole. It seems kind of like a turnaround, especially with, Kemp hitting 303. So you kind of have a guy with speed at the 9 hole who has some power. And then, if he just gets on base, Kemp is a good contact hitter. So if you put the ball in play, good things can happen with that 9-1 turnover. And so I'm really liking what's going on. And that leads us to the Oakland Stars of the week. And starting off, let's start with the pitcher here, because I think you all know who I'm going to go for the player. Pitcher was Frankie Montas, 6.1 innings this week, 6 Ks, and he gave up an opponent batting average of 200. He's really been the horse for this team this year, consistently going out there, giving good innings. I know the first game was a little shaky, and that 1 inning allowed 3 runs, but for the most part, he's been solid. I haven't really seen any bullpen guys be consistent yet. Granted, I've watched every game but 2, so I'm still not seeing how this bullpen is going to come into and what their roles are. I think they're still undefined, but you're looking at somebody who is going to be the ace of this team this year. I think he's going to go out there and consistently be asked to get 5, 6, 7 innings of work. He's going to be a K machine like he was last year. That splitter is just flat out nasty. And you're looking at, a guy who can eat some innings up. And with you have a young, outside of Cole Irving, a young rotation, with Adam Aller and these guys and Jeffries, you're going to need guys to go up there and battle. I look at the hard hit percentage there is 35.3%. So he's not getting hit hard. The expecting batting average of 2.52 is roughly average, but he's not walking anybody. 2.1% walk percentage is super low. And And so, he's making people beat him. And sometimes he leaves that fastball up there or that splitter hangs a little bit. But for the most part, you're looking at a guy who's going to go challenge you. And that's why I think he gets a lot of Ks. And it's just going to be based on that there. And so it's going to be something to see today, going forward and how that all works is he going to be a guy that can really up his trade value? And are they going to get something for him at the deadline? I think that's something to be interesting to see. So he's my pitcher of the week. We're going to go to the batter of the week. And although he had played some great baseball, he got known more for, he's Oakland's ass right now. And that's Sean Murphy that, he's gotten, like he said, he goes, I could have went 4 for 4 with 4 grand slams and I got more publicity for my hindquarters there, but he really had a phenomenal week. And if you look at his week, just really raking it, 364, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, 1.173 OPS. Guy was just a savage at the plate. And he's having a phenomenal year. You're looking at his exit velocity average is 93.7, leading the team. Hard hit percentage, over 55% hard hit percentage. So when he's getting wood on that ball, it's definitely something that is going to be there. Average launch angle of 16.8. And expected slugging of 622. So really something to be there. I think where you're looking at maybe him struggling a little bit on this season is his K percentage is roughly 30%. But if you're going to K, you better be hitting the ball hard, and he is smoking it right now. And so, he's getting pubbed for those hindquarters, doing all those squats and everything like that, as well as on the field. And he is my Oakland A's star of the week. So let's get into this upcoming trip here. Like I said, Oakland is going to be playing their first homestand of the season against the Orioles and the Rangers. The Orioles not really a team who is expected to make many waves this season. And you look at the Rangers who are spent $500 million in the middle of the infield, so they're expected to make a little bit more of a stink there in this division. I think a lot of people kind of pick them to be third above the Angels, with those bats and everything like that. But we'll see how that really works out. Starting with the Orioles here right now through the first part of the season. The Orioles are at the bottom of the East Division at 3-6, only 2.5 games behind Toronto. So not doing terrible, but their streak is a 1 win and -9 run differential. Where you're looking at the A's right there at +10 run differential, so second in the AL behind Cleveland. So they're putting the spanking on the ball, and if the Orioles are giving it up, the A's will surely take it. And I hope that they get the W going in tonight. Let me pull up right now since we're on. Let's pull up the Oakland A's communications and see what the starting lineup is for today. Oh, already out. I like it. So you're getting Tony Kemp leading off, then Elvis Andrews playing short, Murphy behind the dish, McKinney playing first base, Betancourt DH in, Brown in right, Noisy playing second, Smith at third, Pache in center field, and the man, the myth, the legend, Frankie Montas throwing that nasty splitter on the mound today, on the bump, getting that lollipop going, and throwing it right down Broadway to challenge these hitters, especially for a team that's not scoring very many runs. And so a young team as well. So, you're looking at there's plenty of you could say that the Orioles don't really have a lot of tape on these guys, or the A's don't have a lot of tape on the Orioles because they're a young team, but you also don't really the level from pitching from AAA to the MLB is vastly superior. And so we'll see what a guy who got, like I said, Cy Young nods to see if he can get 5 good innings, 6 good innings, anywhere between 7 to 10 Ks, not allow very much runs, and then see if the Oakland fan base out there, the maniacs out there, the drum circle, can really get the vibe going out there, get these new guys like Kevin Smith and Christian Pache showing what the Oakland fan base can be, and that they're glad to be a part of this organization. And so I think that the key for this series is just going to be play quality baseball, right? You don't want to let a team that is supposed to be worse than you beat you. I don't know if many people thought they were worse going into the season, but A's are definitely playing much better baseball. And then the Rangers are right there in the bottom of the division, 2-7, not playing very good baseball as well. And so A's really could have a chance to step on some throats this week and take both series and really push themselves up the standings. And so with these games here, I'm looking at, I don't know, if they take both, you're at a 3 out of 4 for both. You're looking at it wouldn't be 4 because it's a week, so it'd be 30 game series, so 2-3 and 3-4. So, quality series would be only 2 losses, I would say. Only 2 losses. Sorry, I had to try to do that in my head, and it wasn't really sticking too well there. But 2 losses would be what I would expect or less in this series with the way the A's have been playing against the good opponents, and see if they can keep that up at home this year. And I think with the gutsy attitude and the mentality they got, they're going to want to prove their fans right. I mean, I think a lot of fans right now are, upset at management. Management's trying to gloss over the fact that they're not spending and all this kind of stuff like that. So maybe this Oakland A's team will grab a hold of the fan base, give them something to root for this year, and see what's going on. So, that's going to be it for us today. Hopefully we can watch some A's baseball coming up on the home opener. I'm Randall McMahon. You can find me at Randall Commando 24 on Twitter. Thank you for watching Cerberus Sports Talk, and have a good day. Go A's.